Okay, folks, so I had made this
ball helium balloon out
video
here,
the
and
other
there was one that
day
popped up for a
because
second.
I was tracking some balls that were hanging out, and there was one that was hanging out here in the Pacific, right out here by Guam. Okay, and now I can show you the time that this was recorded. This was recorded at like not quite 3 p.m. our time here. You can see 2:49 p.m. It says 6:12. And at the time when I caught eye of it on the flight tracker radar, I was mainly tracking these Hibals that were over here hanging out over Texas area right here. And then I just happened to notice, there was a Hibal that popped up right over here by Guam. And I thought, well, that's kind of curious. But I went back to, talking more about nuclear security hanging out in the valley once again. It's interesting to see them. Every time I see some of these balloons, a lot of times I see nuclear security and the sniffers out and about. So I think that this earthquake that just occurred in Guam is kind of curious. The U.S. Geological Survey recorded an earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 5.1 that struck 86 kilometers south-southwest of Marizo Village in Guam with a depth of 29.9 kilometers at 8:23 p.m. Okay, this is very curious to me that I would see an H ball out there in Guam, out by Guam, out in their Pacific proving grounds. Okay, and then they have an earthquake, a 5.1. And this little map, this pretty much says the same thing. The Pacific Daily News pretty much says the same thing as the Guam Homeland Security, like word for word, like the press release and everything. But this little map imagery they show here, this little star where they're showing where the earthquake was, this was right about where on the flight tracker maps I had seen a Habal hanging out there in the Pacific, in their great proving grounds, right out in here there was a Habal. It was on there for just a split second, and then it disappeared because I was clicking on other balloons and stuff like that, and it disappeared. So I'll upload this video that I had taken, but I was going to upload it the other day, but my outdoor fishy tank, sprung a little leak. So I've been spending my time transferring fish to a new tank, which is quite a bit bigger. It's a 55 gallon. We went to Petco over here and they're having a sale 50% off all aquariums. So I got a big 55 gallon tank now. I was just going to settle for like a 29 gallon. And then my husband said, are you sure you don't want to get a bigger one? And I was like, well, you shouldn't ask me that because now I do. So my husband bought a 55 gallon and it's huge. And I'm still getting the fish all acclimated and rearranging their new home and stuff. But I wanted to just do a quick video to show y'all. I was going to get this posted up and I totally, like I said, because I'm repetitive, said it again. I was busy transferring the fish. And you can see the time right there, 2:49, shortly before, uh, you know, not right before, but within a reasonable time frame to make reasonable assumptions that we see an H ball out here in their Pacific proving grounds. And Guam has been known for all kinds of testing. They've been doing all kinds of testing out there in Guam and in the Marianas Trench for decades, which I think is kind of curious because maybe something like this, if more people are finding out that there was earthquakes out that way, maybe they would look into a little bit more where the Marianas Trench is concerned. And it's supposed to be like the deepest part of the oceans. And there's only been like a few people, like just a handful, like not even 5 people that have ever been able to venture down into that deep, dark crevice and on our planet. Maybe we can like invest like $93 billion into finding out exactly what's going on out here in the Marianas Trench before we go trying to find exoplanets. I'm just saying, I don't want to get on that topic too much, but I just wanted to take note. I'm going to go ahead and upload this little intro and contextual introduction to this video here. And so that y'all can see, there was an H ball out there, but it disappeared off the flight tracker radar, but it was there for a split second. It was right out by Guam. And they've done so many scenarios and everything out there. And I do find it very curious that some of the current research and stuff that they want to do concerning the Marianas Trench involved. Let me see if I can find that tweet. I think it was at the bottom of this one. No, oh, maybe. Yes, it was right here. It's interesting that a week ago, the Guam Homeland Security on June 5th posted up something about the tsunami program manager, Stephen Cahill, continues collaboration with partners from the CNMI during the Guam CNMI tsunami collaboration meeting, funded by none other than NOAA. Both areas discussed best practices and initiatives for building a robust tsunami program in the Marianas. And how else would you be able to build a robust tsunami program? You wouldn't be able to do it without tsunamis, right? You would have to have tsunamis in order to test the equipment and everything like that, right? So we know damn well these people, NOAA in particular, and the DOD and the DOE and all the other D whatevers, um, pretty much do what they want when it comes to research and development, and including simulating and creating simulated environments to test things in. So I think that's just curious that they would post that up. And although this earthquake from the other day didn't generate a tsunami or anything that we know of, I mean, we just got to take their word for it, right? So I just think that's curious. And I say it several times in this video, I believe. I don't consent. I don't like them drifting these balls and these balloons and stuff over our territories and over our properties and different things like that. And they've been taking advantage of this territory, this Pacific Proving Grounds for quite a while. So I just think that's curious. Stay mindful, folks. So this is kind of curious. I noticed something like this before when I had tracked a ball, an H ball, a helium balloon out here, and there was one that popped up for a second a little bit ago, and then it's disappeared. Um, I was tracking these two down here that are sitting over above Texas, right? And then one popped off way over in the extreme Pacific, and then this nuclear security administration flight comes through right through here. And there's a Janet 10 coming down from that area too. Yeah, right there. And there's one leaving. Janet 34 coming through. But this is kind of curious to me because I've seen this before. And it's almost like a deja vu, but this is a totally different day. I'm pretty sure it is. I think. But I've seen it before where one of those balloons popped up way over here off in this direction, and then it just disappeared off of the map, almost like it just drifted off, right? Well, you know what, folks? This map right here and this bullshit with all these curves and all of this shit, this is bullshit, okay? Because if we look at a Gleason's map and where this balloon was, it was out here by the Philippine Sea, just southeast of the Philippine Sea, near the Northern Mariana Islands. It was right out here in this area, near Guam, where they've done known testing. There's been a lot of testing and stuff going on out there. And if we look at Gleason's map, okay, when we're looking out off of the coast of North America, the North American continent, okay, it's way out here, right? And here's the US coast right here, right? It's way out here, okay? Well, if we look at the Gleason's map, we can see that would be like way out here, right? Out in this area, where if you look at the ice wall, you can see where this part of the ice wall is kind of like melted back a little bit. And I think that's because when this map was created years and years and years ago, very long time ago, they had already been experimenting with electromagnetic energy and wireless technology and free energy technology. And I think myself personally, I think there probably was another island off in here, that there was a fourth area and a territory off in here. And there were people that lived on there that kept on trying to get through that damn wall, and they created something catastrophic. And that's what they would categorize as the Carrington event. I think the Carrington event was a man-made event where they were experimenting with things they probably didn't have any business of trying to experiment, much like these days, right? But you can see where part of it looks like it's melted back right there. And this has been their proving grounds for a very long time. And it wouldn't surprise me if there wasn't an entire civilization and a whole territory out here that was just completely annihilated off of the map because they experimented too many times out there. And then what do we have out here now? We have the Hawaiian Islands, which is a perpetual volcano. It's constantly burning, right? I wonder why. But when I see this stuff with this map like this, with all this round stuff, it's just ridiculous to me. This makes way more sense. It really, really does. And when I saw that balloon drop off, that balloon would have dropped off right over here in this area where, according to this Gleason's map, there's some of the ice wall chewed back. So I think right here, this is where that edge is, right out here. And then as it circles around like that, this is just ridiculous to me that they still keep holding up this whole helio thing as if it's based on facts and demonstrations, and it's just not. And I think it's also curious that they had deleted Accessor for people to use the azimuthal mapping system too. But anyway, there was an H-ball out here. There was a Habal out here, out by Guam, and it's been known. That's been a proving ground for a very long time for them to test certain things, and more specifically, like electromagnetic pulses that they generate. They can generate themselves. And I mean, it's in many, many scenarios, okay? It's been noted in their EMP resilience programs, and it's been noted that, North Korea has said something about you know, testing high altitude, you know, it's just, it wouldn't surprise me if they were doing that. And then all of this stuff with solar activity. And then the fact that we're sitting under a heat dome right over here wasn't related to a bunch of freaking testing and shit where they're releasing all kinds of ungodly, unnatural energies out here in their Pacific proving grounds, which actually is not out here where they're, you know, where there's all this other territory. All of this is way out over there. All of this is just wide open space right out here. And they take full advantage of it and exploit it as far as they could possibly exploit it.